Hey friends, it's Mel McGee, and today you and I are going to code along with AI. So we're making a project today that is going to search my Google Drive files for all of my movies, transcribe them, throw a summary, the topic, etc., date, time in a database so that I can figure out what videos I have. And let me tell you how this started. So the other day, a colleague of mine said, Mel, where's my video? Well, she was a past student of mine, and her demo day video was on YouTube, and she loved showing it off. Well, that was several years ago, and she went to look for it, and it's not there. It's not there. But guess what? Everything in the company ends up in my video drive folder for some bizarre reason. So they're there. Who has enough time to go through 1,700 videos? Some of them are over an hour long. AI, computers, they have that kind of time. So let's get started. For this project, we're using Anthropic's Claude, which is a large language model awesome at coding. And we're also using Google's Colab. It allows us to write some Python code for really quick and easy implementations. Finally, I'm going to be searching my videos on Google Drive. So that plays a part as well. So we're going to start off in Claude, and we're going to use Claude as a co-developer with us. You will note throughout this process that it's good. It's good to be a developer. It makes life so much easier. I have done this several times, and I have tried to help folks who potentially aren't as technically savvy out in doing this. And persistence is key. Being a developer helps, and prompt engineering really also does a great deal to guide us in this process. Anyways, we're going to go for it. You're going to learn. We're going to learn together and do this thing. So Claude is really, really good at coding. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I started this prompt already, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of prompt engineering techniques as we go through this. So I start off with this. I'd love you to act as an amazing integrations developer who is extremely familiar with accessing Google Drive and searching for files by type, specifically movies, then transcribing each movie. I put in some details here. I'm also interested in Claude's ideas. Then creating a lightweight database of the movies, including the drive, location or URL, a summary of the video, the date, and the topic, right? So I start off with this persona pattern. I am telling Claude that I wanted to act as a developer, essentially. I wanted not just to be a developer, but amazing integrations developer. Integrations are, taking one program and hooking it up to another, right? So this persona pattern is really a good idea to get Claude or other large language models, for the most part, into the space of where you want them to start looking. And let me explain why. I could say, tell me about Apple, and depending on if I'm a farmer or if I'm a technologist, I might tell you two different stories, right? So getting that persona right helps set the stage. That's called the persona pattern. Then I say, can you help me? Think it through step by step and ask me any questions one at a time that will help guide you in building my solution. Then I give it a couple of notes. All right, so this is a chain of thought right here. I'm saying think it through. I'm not just letting it do its own thing. And for some large language models, they already have this built in, but it doesn't hurt to tell it to think it through. Asking questions one at a time. I don't want to hear like 10 questions in a row. Boy, is that annoying. And then I tell it a couple of nuances. I prefer using Python in Google's Colab. Google's Colab, as we will see, is basically what's called a Jupyter notebook. You put Python code there. Is it great for production? Absolutely not. Is it fantastic for quickly trying to figure out and create solutions? Oh, yes, it is. So this is great for you if you're just trying to do a proof of concept or some quick code. Great for entrepreneurs who want to get ideas going fast. Then you can hand it off to somebody else, like a programmer. Okay, anyways, I want to add one more thing here because this could be important. My drive contains about 1,700 videos. I know this because I searched them before. You may or may not know this information. You don't have to put it in. I'm sort of putting this there up front so it could potentially help me create a better solution. Pretend it's a consultant and you're trying to give it as much information as possible. That's a really good way to look at it. All right, let's see what happens. I'm just going to go ahead, and we are using the latest and greatest model, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, to do this. Okay, great. It's going to help me design an integration to catalog and analyze video content. Well, thank you for succinctly letting me know what we were doing. Let me think through this step by step and ask the most critical questions first. And it says I need to understand your authorization context. You already have a Google Cloud project set up with necessary API credentials. You know what? I do, but to help you out, I'm going to say no, I don't. Okay. Would you like some guidance in setting that up? Yes, please. And it says here's the overall approach. Set up Google Drive API authentication. Check. Search recursively through Drive for video folders. Yeah, that makes sense. Process videos through speech to text. We can discuss Whisper versus Google speech to text. I can do Whisper for free. Okay. And store metadata in transcriptions. Several options to discuss here. Finally, create search retrieval functionality. Yeah, that sounds like exactly what I want to do for this step. So I told Claude I want the simplest authentication possible. Reason being, this is beginner's tutorial. I don't want to freak you out. There are different types of authentication and different reasons you would use them. But for our purposes, we're going to go with simple. It says for the simplest authentication in Google Colab, we can use Google Colab Auth. Perfect. It says let's authenticate directly through your Google account, which is perfect for personal projects. Keep that in mind. If you wanted to develop something for the world to use, you would use a different type of authentication. All right. So it says, let me create some basic starter code we can build upon, and look what happens. Over here, it created this code. Boy, do I love this interface. It's really interesting. And it will authenticate Google Drive. Search for video files using common video MIME types. Create basic pandas data frame with metadata. Pandas is a library that's used a ton in Python. So it's going to do this, and it says before we move on to the transcription part, I should ask, would you like to test this basic setup to make sure we can access your videos properly? We could tell Claude that, but here we go. Down here, you will see this copy contents. Yep, that's awesome. We're going to use that. I'm going to take a look here first, though, as it's doing a lot of imports. This is Python code. How did it know to write Python? Because I told it. Even if you just said you're using Google Colab, it will figure out it's Python. You can also say, help me decide, things like that. I'm helping you out and giving you a shortcut here. We are using this. So it's importing all of these libraries and Google API client, etc., pandas into our code. Then it's authenticating Drive here. This is a method in Python, all right? This one is a method that's going to search our video files. It's searching common MIME types. What is a MIME type? It's basically the extension, more or less, of your movie. So what are some typical MIME types? MP4s, right? QuickTime, sure. WebMs, yeah, not MS videos. There are others as well. And I might tell it, what about different file types that you didn't list? Right now, we're going to go with it. And then it says it's going to join the MIME type. It's searching. So it's constructing a MIME type query to look in Google Drive for the videos. Then it goes ahead and creates a video database. This is where the data frame and pandas come into play. And then here's the main function. It says searching for videos and does the video search. Then it tells you how many videos there are. Then it gives you printout of the first few entries and it's done. This is a very naive, simple program. Let's start here. Let's test this out. So let's just tell Claude we want to test it out. It says, great, we're going to run this in Colab. You'll need to copy the code into a new Colab notebook and run it. And it's doing a setup and test right here. If you are familiar with programming, you'll notice that this is not a class. This is not object-oriented. We could tell it we wanted it in object-oriented format, but no, we're just going to go with this very basic piece of code. We're going to copy it, and now we go to Colab. Okay, so we go to Colab. It's at colab.research.google.com. Go here and file new notebook in Drive. If you have not authenticated, it will ask you to log in essentially. So go ahead and do that. This Colab notebook, this IPYNB is a Python notebook. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename it because Untitled 5 won't really help me when I'm searching through my Google Drive for this code. Okay, so we're going to call this Search Drive for Movies. Simple, right? Cool. Now, a really nice thing about Colab and Jupyter Notebooks is that you can have some text here and you can format it, put pictures in, etc. to explain what's going on. So simple project to search Drive for movies. I'm going to move this up. You'll see this little toolbar here. I'm going to move it up so it's at the top, and then you'll see another one appear underneath and it'll say start coding or generate with AI. Why? Because this is a code cell. It's called a cell. This is a text cell. This is a code cell. The code cell was there. I'm going to paste all of the code from Claude that I just copied here. All right. And it's telling you these things in green with the hashtags or the pound signs are comments in Python. Another thing you want to know in Python is space matters. Having all of these definitions of functions, they need to be in the same kind of location, have the same spacing throughout this throughout the page. But if you just copy and paste, you should be good to go. Let's run it. How do we run this? You run cell by cell here. So there's nothing to run here because it's text. This one is code. Let's just click it, run cell. You can also hit Control or Command Enter to run it. As it's running, you'll see that it's running because it's spinning, just like a browser window, right? So it's not done yet. We could interrupt the execution if we wanted to by stopping it. And if I scroll down, notice that this will stay running so I can still see it in the sidebar, and it's telling me what it's doing. Yes, I wanted to access my Google credentials. So I just gave it access to my credentials. I spared you all of the details there, but it's basically popping up saying, do you allow Google to do this? And I'm saying yes, yes, yes. And then it took me back here. Look at this. And it says authentication successful, and it's searching for videos. Awesome. Oh my gosh. It found even more videos than I imagined. We had more MIME types than I previously searched on. Okay, so it says total videos over 2,000, and it's giving me a breakdown by MIME type. And here are specific locations of those videos. Awesome. Part 1, check. We have successfully searched through our drive for video files. Back to Claude. So as we're in Claude, it's asking us a couple of things. Once this runs, I'd like to know, are we finding all your videos? Yes. And are the file types we're searching for covering all your videos? So in my case, I'm going to say yes. If you think you want to add more MIME types and cover every possible scenario, go ahead and tell Claude that. I don't think it's getting all of them. What other video MIME types should I add? And that should cover it. But let's keep going here. It's great. Let's keep going and let's hit enter. Let's see what Claude has to do. It says, great, we're going to move on to the transcription part. For transcribing all of these videos, I see two options. OpenAI's Whisper, open source version. It's free to use, runs locally with good accuracy. It's definitely not perfect, but it's good. Cons, need to download each video, slower processing. Yeah, it's pretty slow. Google's speech-to-text API pros, no need to download videos, faster processing. Good point. And cons, usage costs, might need to handle different languages separately. Well, we're all in the same language here. If you had different languages, Spanish, English, German, etc., you might want to consider other options. I know I'm only using English, so no worries. And right now, even though I have a couple of thousand videos for this video, we're going to assume I don't have as many, and we're not going to worry about the speed, and we're going to go more for free costs, right? So I would like, it says, will your videos need real-time subtitles, timestamps in the transcription, or is it the full text sufficient for your database? For this purpose, I'm just going to go simple. Right? So we're just going to say, keep it simple with full text and use Whisper. Enter. It says we're going to add Whisper functionality to our code. We need to download videos temporarily for processing, handle the transcription, then clean up. Here's the enhanced version. So we're back here over on the right. We're installing the required packages up front. That's what this is all about. Then we're importing a whole bunch of clients, API clients and the like. Then we have a class. Here's our object-oriented programming in Python. Class video transcriber. Here are all of our method definitions. And let's just review them quickly. We're initializing. Great. This one is authenticating drive. Downloading and extracting audio. Transcribing video. Processing videos. Search video files. And then there's this main definition here. It's a function to get it all kicked off, right? So it's over here, it's saying it's structured it to download, do all this stuff. Then it's saying, I've set it to process just 5 videos initially to test. And where is this? Right here, max videos equals 5. See that? You could change that. And then it saves progress to a CSV file after each video. It uses the base Whisper model to start. It's faster, but less accurate. There's different models of the Whisper API. The base model is faster than some other models. It is less accurate. We're going to go for it. Would you like to run this test batch of 5 videos to make sure everything works? Yes. Should we modify anything before running it, like using a different Whisper model or adjusting the batch size? No, we're going to run it. So actually, because I know I want to do that, down here, again, copy to contents. It's right down here. Copy this. You'll see a check mark once it's copied. We're going to go back to Colab, and I'm going to hide this output cell. And in the previous cell, this is the cell we had before. We could either keep this and then just say, hey, this is just a test, or we could remove it. I'm going to remove it. So how do I do that? I select the cell, or I can hit delete here. Let's go ahead and just delete that cell. It makes it simple. We're back here. We can either go plus code here, or if you hover over the last cell, you can do plus code here. Start coding. Yep, I already have the code. I just need to paste it. So I'm going to say Command V or Control V, depending on if you're a Mac or a Windows user, and it's popping it all in here. This is the function where it will start, and this is good. It's going to do 5. Let's run it. So if I scroll down, it's going to be installing a bunch of things. I'm not going to bore you. I'm going to pause this section. You'll see it's loading the Whisper model now. Let's let it keep going. And here we go. It's processing a test batch of videos. It's looking for all the videos. That's great. Now it's starting to process video 1 of 5. Connecting to alum on LinkedIn, MP4. This is awesome. It went through it, the first video, and it's saved to a CSV file, a comma separated values file. I could tell it, hey, save it to a database, etc. It's going on to the second video. We're having different warnings. Warnings are okay for this type of situation. It's not a production environment. This is just our local little project. We're good to go. It is finally done. We got 5 videos, and as I was waiting for these videos to process, I will tell you, it was taking about 2 minutes per video. So for a couple of thousand videos, it's going to take several days running nonstop. I might continue to look for different solutions to speed this up, or I might just leave it as is. That's fine. Let's continue with Claude at this point. Our next step is to query the database. Okay, we're back in Claude. So at this point in Claude, what I want to do is tell it, I ran it, it's good. Let's move on to the next step. Okay. Hello, there we go. Okay, it said, let's create a searchable database system that will let you query your videos effectively based on both metadata and transcription content. We'll build a system that can search through transcripts for specific topics and keywords, filter by date and metadata, and provide relevant snippets and links to the original videos. Here's the code. All right, video search and analysis system. Okay, cool, semantic search with vectors. Wow. Date-based filtering, topic-related videos, database summarization. Would you like me to explain how to use any of these specific features in more detail, add any more search capabilities, create a simple web interface for easier interaction with the database? Well, that might be gilding a lily right now. So let's take a look. Here is a new class. It's called Video Database. Oh, I want to show you something cool. So did you notice that I could double click within the code and I could say improve or explain? That's awesome. Improve will basically query Claude again and ask it, to refine something. I could say, oh, I don't like the name of this, and it might rename it. Okay, so this is initializing the video database with the CSV file. Cool. Here's all this. Wow, for semantic search. Cool. Keyword search is right there. Date filter, related videos right here. Extract topics, generate summary, and here's the demo search system. So that's great. Now, you might say, where am I supposed to put this? We're going to put it in a new cell, but you can also ask Claude, where should I put this in Colab? And let's see what Claude says. Saying create the notebook. Okay, let's do it. All right, so now we are ready to get it all into Colab. I'm just telling Claude here, I'm asking, can you write out all the Python code so I can just copy and paste it into Colab, right? Because it was giving me pieces, parts. I just want it all together. This is a super simple app. If you want to keep it separate and know what you're doing, go for it. But let's keep it easy peasy. So I did that and it said, sure. It's giving me instructions. Over here, we have complete video processing system for Colab. It has everything in it, including the search, the transcription, everything. And it has the main function and it starts by running the video processing with max videos of 5. And it tells us down here that we could change it if we want it to run all the videos. We could change it to none. I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and we're going to move over to our Colab notebook. And in here, I'm just going to delete everything I had before. I'm just deleting it. Keep it simple. I'm going to add another code block, and I'm just going to paste it. All right. And it's time to run it. Right? It's asking to access my Google credentials. I will allow it. The pop-up just appeared. I spared you the details, but I just hit accept, accept, accept as Colab wanted to access my drive and was asking for authentication from me. Okay, it's extracting audio from the first video it found. It's giving us the warning again, no worries. And now that it has the audio, it went to the transcribing portion. So we have our first error, and I wanted to stop and show you this. So it says there's an invalid comparison between dtype equals date times 64 and timestamp. So what I did is I had Colab explain the error to me. Over here, it tells me the type error cannot blah, blah, blah occurs when you try to compare datetime object with different types of time zone information, it looks like. In this case, the created time column in your data frame likely contains the time zone aware datetime objects in UTC, probably, while PD timestamp now creates a TZ native date time object. And it says, here's the explanation. Cool. And here are suggested changes. To fix this error, you need to ensure both datetime objects you're comparing have the same time zone awareness. Here's how you can modify the date filter function in the video database class. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this. Even the error. I'm going to go back to Claude, and I'm going to say, Claude, I have an error. Here is the error and explanation. Can you fix? Okay, and then I'm going to paste it. Let's see what it does. Hopefully, it's going to fix that function for us. It says, I'll update the video database class with the time zone aware fix. Okay, and over here it's doing it. What we want to be aware of is it going to write the whole thing back out for us or just a snippet? And I suspect it's just going to write a snippet. So here it tells us the main changes. Okay, and it says left other methods unchanged as they don't deal with this. Great. You can replace the original video database class in your code with this updated version. Okay, so this is just the class for video database. I'm going to copy the contents here. I'm going over here and I'm going to hide the output. And I'm going to look for the class that we're going to replace, which is right here. Okay. Through summary, I'm going to hit delete and I'm going to paste it right here. Good. And this run video processing is outside that class. It's part of our interface, basically. I'm going to try this again. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change this to process to video so it doesn't take as long. I'm going to change the comment too so it's not confusing to us. All right, let's run it. That solved the issue. We made it through and it gave us some example searches. So here's the issue. How do we search? It didn't tell us that. So we're going to pop back over to Claude and say, hello, how does it search? Okay, here we are back in Claude. How can I search? I'm going to say it's working because it's asking me, would you like to show me how to test this? No, we figured it out. It's working. How can I search? And it's going to tell us, hopefully. Here are some examples of how to search and filter the video database using the different methods available. And it's an example. And here we go. Basic keyword search. And it's saying, here is the keyword search. The user interface isn't there. We can continue at this point and say, Claude, help us create a user interface. We could also just call the different functions here. We are going to do option 3, create a simple search interface that combines multiple search criteria. Yeah, option 3. please. And it's creating a new class for us. I see some widgets. I see a layout. Oh, this is going to be fascinating. Okay, it's saying it will create an interactive search interface. Great, and it's saying here's how you use it. Fantastic. I'm going to copy this. I reviewed it already. Looks interesting. Beautiful. We're going to go back over here. I'm going to hide this output. I'm going to add another code cell. I'm going to paste this. It even tells me here's usage example. I'm going to take this usage example and add another code cell and put it in here. I'm going to go back here. It's even telling us to use this interface, simply run this. Let's give it a shot, right? So I'm going to run this cell. Remember, it's just adding all of this into its memory so that we can call the interface. And it is done. Now, let's go to this cell. Let's take the comment off of this line and let's see what happens. Okay, let's push the play button. Voila, look at that interface. It's much more attractive than I anticipated. Fantastic. Okay, so we only have 2 videos in here. Keep that in mind. So if I'm looking at date range or even keywords, I don't know. I mean, what could we possibly say? It, or we can code it, maybe. No videos found. Okay, let's try something else. I'm just going to leave it all open and hit search videos. Here are my 2 videos. Here are some really cool graphs. You can do web view links and even more. Now that's it, folks. In well under an hour, we created a full application that might have taken days, maybe even more than a week previously. And this thing traverses Google Drive, searches for movies, transcribes the movies, puts them in a CSV file or CSV files, could easily be a database, right? And then created an interface to search on those files. Next steps could include maybe turning it into an actual application that's production ready, changing the authentication so it's a different type so anyone can access their drive. Maybe you change it from Whisper to a different speech to text kind of platform to increase the speed. Perhaps you even take it from CSV files to SQL database, or maybe a MongoDB document storage NoSQL database. All sorts of options to go from here. You can put different interfaces on it and the like, but this will get you started and is a great way to prototype different applications if you're trying something out, or if you just have a quick project you need to make to solve a problem like I had, or maybe you're an entrepreneur and you want to demo an idea you have to investors. This is a great way to do it. Like, subscribe, follow me. Hope to see you next time.